Hey everyone, thanks for joining me in this gentle twisting practice today. We will want to have a few blocks, maybe pillows, bolsters, blocks, anything that can allow you to feel supported throughout the practice. If you would like to access the full video, it is available on my website at www.everythingyogauk.com. It's in the link underneath in the comments section. And do subscribe, do like, do comment on any of the videos so that you will get access to more. I mean, they're free on YouTube. What an amazing place that we can come together and practice. So do join me and I will meet you on the mat in just a moment. So sitting onto your mat, lengthening the legs out in front. If you find this quite challenging, hop up onto your pillow or your block or a bolster or something to give you an extra little bit of height so you feel more comfortable. Then we will cross left leg over the right. Now, if you want to take the right leg, bend it in, and bring the right foot to the outside of the left hip, that's fine. But you can also stay with the leg out in front. It doesn't make any difference. It's just if you want to take that variation. Right arm or hand is going to gently wrap around. Now, anatomically, my arms are quite long compared to my torso, and my legs are quite long. So I can kind of link them quite easily without very much effort at all. But if you prefer just a hand is also fine. Now, both hands are going to kind of come together. And we're just going to turn the head slightly over towards the left side. Maybe close the eyes. And allow the body to twist organically. And that might be like, what? What is she trying to say? I'm telling you to not put any effort into the twisting, but notice how your body moves deeper into the twist without you even having to try. You might feel the body sliding softer, deeper into that twist in an effortless manner. Maybe every exhale you feel the body going deeper. And by closing the eyes, we're actually allowing it to be less about what it looks like physically, but actually how it might feel for your body. You might actually think that you've twisted really, really deeply. It's what it might feel like, but there might have been very little movement. To the naked eye, anyway. So let your body guide you, rather than your mind forcing your body into a shape. On our next inhale, maybe opening the eyes softly and beginning to unravel back gently, coming back to the center. Now we're going to keep the legs as they are, taking the left hand to the inside of the left leg or foot. This time it's going to be an active pin and twist and pull round. So looking over the right shoulder, pushing into the left leg and feeling the difference here. Really get the neck to twist round. And then gently coming back to the center. Again, keeping the legs crossed. So we have the left leg crossed over the right, coming into the figure four and then lying down. But keep that cross. So maintain the left ankle onto the right thigh. Arms can go out wide. And we're going to drop the legs over to the right side. So that left foot comes into the floor. And I want you to think about this left knee pushing up to the sky. So the hip is opening. So our first point, we're just going to allow the hip to open nice and slowly. So you should feel a little bit of space being created in this area of the hip, but we're still getting a bit of a twist into the body. Just breathe here, maybe about a minute. Notice what happens. Stay curious and open-minded. If we experience pain, you know what I'm going to tell you. Don't suffer. You don't have to experience pain. If it's just a bit of discomfort, that's different, but that sharp, electric light sort of intensity, that's our warning signal to come out of a posture. So do know the difference and make the judgment call based on what your tolerance level is for the discomfort you're experiencing. Now we can take hold of the outside of the left leg with the right hand and then guide this left knee as far down as it wants to go. And now you'll feel a little bit more into the outer edge of the hip, into the buttock, and across into the shoulder a bit more. And you might want to turn the gaze away from the knee. And just notice what this feels like. If you don't want to come into this variation, you can stay in the one previously. How amazing it is that we can feel all these different pullings and aches and openings in our bodies. Checking in with your body, noticing what's coming up. Noticing what you feel. With our body and our experiences, there's no right or wrong. We feel what we feel, right? We can feel into our bodies, and our experience is our experience. So in a yoga practice, if someone says, you should feel this when you come into this pose, either physically or emotionally, and you're like, I don't, it's okay. Like, actually, we should feel what we should feel, not what somebody tells us we're meant to be feeling. So we'll come back to the center, but keep the figure 4 with the legs. So the left ankle is still crossed over the right. And then this time we'll drop the knees over towards the left side. Now, if you need a bolster or cushion underneath your knees, do take it. The arms can stay either out wide, or you may want the arms to slightly go over the head. No forcing is needed. You want your head to turn towards the right. That might feel quite nice. Are you able to soften? Or are you gripping? Just notice. As we guide everything back to the center, we can finally unravel the legs and maybe hug them in towards the chest if you want a little bit of rocking on the back. Maybe let the head just rock with you. Let the head kind of follow the rocking motion. It feels so nice for the back of the skull to get a bit of a massage from the ground. The sides of the head. If you've had a head massage, oh my God, they feel so amazing. So great for our heads to be held, to be massaged. Now we'll make our way back up to the sit bones. And if you need to prop yourself up onto a pillow again, by all means, do. This time we're going to leave the left leg out, right leg crosses over left. If you want to pull that left foot in to the outside of the right hip, you can. So you have that position here if you don't feel like you're going to fall over. So just make sure that you feel supported. Then we'll take the left arm, either hand or the elbow might hook into the knee, just might happen. And we take the right hand and maybe just grab hold of the elbow, the forearm, the wrist, the palm, and we're just guiding the body into a twist. So we're guiding it to wrap around towards the right side, but we're not pushing and forcing, so we're just sinking into it. Closing the eyes can help so that actually the movement is happening more organically. Maybe it's happening with your breathing. You might notice as you exhale a little bit more twist happens, or it might just be a gradual sliding ground. You may get to a position and you think, well, I don't really go anywhere else. Well, what does happen? What can we feel? The intention of this is not to go for a deep twist, but to feel things moving without effort. Noticing where they move, in which direction, what can we feel throughout our bodies. Remember, if we hit a point where it's painful, we can gently unravel from that. Discomfort is fine if it's where we can tolerate it. Now, on the next inhale, we slowly open the eyes, come back to the top of the mat, and then twist the other way. So our right hand goes the inside of the right leg or foot. We reach the left arm behind and we just actively twist. So we're pinning in with that right hand and pulling to wrap round, maybe looking over the left shoulder. So a very different variation here. Much more intense in terms of effort-wise, and you might feel a bit more pulling and tension through the muscles, the tissue, the joints. And then coming back to the center. Now keeping the legs crossed, so you should still have the right ankle over the left thigh into that figure 4. And we'll come onto the back into our lying down positions. And we're going to let the feet and the knee of the right and the left leg, right, because we have like other right and left legs. I don't know why I said that. Let the legs drop over towards the left side. So the right foot lands into the floor and this right knee stays pointing up to the sky, so we have an opening in the hip. Now just be aware that it can feel quite intense in some of us, and one side might feel very different from the other. So go easy on your body. Breathing and feeling. Just notice the experience that we're having in the body. Now, if you would like to, the left hand can come to the outside of the right thigh and gently guide the right knee down towards the earth. Now, it doesn't have to touch the ground. And if you feel too much pinching in the hip joint, in that right hip joint, just take less. You might feel a nice pulling across the glute, so into the outer edge of the hip, which can feel really yummy. Just notice where you're working with the body and what it might feel like. And it might feel great just to stay here and breathe, or you might want to return back to the other pose at any point. You want to turn your head away from the knees, you can, or keep the head where it feels more neutral, more natural. This feels kind of effortful. Notice where you can relax the effort, so the back of the mouth. The tongue kind of float somewhere in the center. See if the eyes can just drop to the back of the head. Softening the cheeks. Then nice and slowly, we come back to the center, back to the figure 4, and we drop the legs over towards the right side, so that left knee comes down, arms can maybe go over the head if that feels good, if you did that on the other side, that feels supported. If you need to have any props underneath the knees, you can take them. Just noticing where you're now feeling the tugging in your body. The final couple of breaths here. As we slowly make our way back to the center, we can hug the knees in, maybe wriggle around a little bit. And then we'll make our way back up to seated. So if you want to hop yourself up onto support, so anything that allows a little bit of height for your body, I'm going to sit onto the bolster. We're going to work a little bit with the neck before we come to relaxation. So a lot of the time in our practices, we tend to release into the lower back, the upper back, and we often forget about the head and the neck as part of that release. So we are going to work the sternocleidomastoid a little bit, it's the front of the throat, and you notice when you turn your head opposite directions. So when I turn my head to the right, the left sternocleidomastoid activates. We don't want to work with the one that's active, we'll work with the one that's passive. So we're always going to be working with the one that feels a little bit softer. So we're doing any tugging into this sternocleidomastoid. So I'm going to mirror you. So hopefully I get my lefts and rights right. Fingers crossed. So we're going to turn our head to the right. Just notice the muscles that are pulling down that left side. It feels really nice. And we're going to just palpate the kind of inside of the throat. So you should feel where you've got your Adam's apple, the right in the center, and then go over towards that next ropey bit of muscle, and you can just give it a little bit of a massage. If it feels like throaty, you're not in the right place. Can feel a little bit throaty to come into the sternocleidomastoid, and it should feel a little bit ropey, like it's kind of, you can feel it's very kind of soft and wobbly like a loose string. On this side, it's a little bit tighter because it's taut, turning the head. Now it does split into two sections. One section goes off down behind kind of the collarbone, behind over here into the first rib, and another one comes down and you can feel it attaching to the top here. You can feel that insertion right by kind of first part of your collarbone. So we're going to take the left hand. So remember our head's still turned to the right. And we're going to dig in to this sternocleidomastoid, SCM, and gently squeeze. Now this might feel quite uncomfortable. Now I'm aware some people have nails. If you have nails and you're like, I can't wrap around it, I mean, I'd always say just bite your nails off because I don't do nails. But you can always just wrap your thumb around, like underneath and around. But you don't want to pinch the skin. You'll know when it's the skin because it will feel weird pinching skin. You should be able to almost feel like it's a rope that you're gripping hold of and you're gently pulling it away from the neck. I'm like, oh, it feels amazing. And you can either work up a little bit higher, so up towards the kind of top part of the sternocleidomastoid, or you can work lower down towards the collarbone. You will feel where it splits into two, so you can work down either channel and then breathe. Now to release it, I want you to release really slowly. So rather than just pinging and letting go, we're not playing a guitar string. We're going to slowly relax the fingers. And as you bring the head back to the center, just turn left and right with your head and just notice what it feels like. You can move your head around. For me, it always feels more spacious, like, oh, I can actually move my head. And if you spend a lot of time at a computer desk or you sit and slouch like this is a really nice one to do at the end of the day. So you give back a little bit of freedom for that movement of the head. Good, so we'll go to the other side. So we're going to turn our head to the left. Remember, this right SCM will be the one that's poking out. We're not working with the right one. We're taking the right hand and we're going to just massage and palpate the left SCM. It should be soft, so it should be malleable. And we're going to then bring the thumb to the inside, finger to the outside, and grip around that ropey-like muscle. If your SCM is really tight or like feels really compacted into the neck, it can just be how our anatomy is. If our necks are not, massively long, or if the SCM feels a little bit tighter towards the actual neck, then just go where you can. So you may not be able to get your fingers all the way around, but we're trying to get them around as much as we can, and then squeeze and pull it out. So we're not gripping skin. Remember, if we're gripping skin, we're just going to be feeling the two layers of the skin kind of rubbing together. That's going to feel weird. I'm like, yeah. But we want to grip around this big ropey sort of kind of, you can feel it. You can feel it's thick and ropey and tough. Like you can actually quite strongly pull on it. And remember, you can either work higher up or you can work lower down where it splits into two. So you can go for either. It's quite hard to get to this one down that splits into the first rib. But you can work wherever you need to go. The more we kind of get used to our bodies, the more we palpate them, the more we feel our bodies, the more we get to navigate around them more easily. It's like your doctor shouldn't be able to, or your massage therapist shouldn't know your own body better than you, right? You want to know all these muscles, at least where they are in your bodies and how we can affect them with movement or massage. Good, so remember, as we let go slowly, slowly. So don't ping, softly let go. And then just turn the head side to side. Just feel what's happened. Maybe let the head move a little bit. Great. That's going to really help with mobility of the neck and rotation from side to side. Good. So we will come back and lie down. Why not? Bringing maybe a pillow for the head, maybe the bolster for underneath the knees, which that feels really good. And if you're cold, you may want to wrap yourself up in a blanket. Resting to a comfortable place, and whether that is Shavasana, whether that's fetal pose, or whatever that might be for you, let it be relaxing for your body. We'll be here for a good couple of minutes, if not longer. So encouraging yourself to get comfy. And I will leave you here for about 2-3 minutes. If you want to stay here for longer, you can do so. Or I will invite you to move out of this pose in those next few minutes. Now, by all means, if you would like to stay here for as long as your body needs, please do so. If you're ready to wiggle out, take your time to start to invite movement back to the body. A deeper breath, maybe stretching. We can make our way into a fetal position, pausing in a fetal pose for a moment. And then gradually lifting the body up to seated. We'll close the practice together with one final little stretch. Inhale to sweep the arms up, palms connect. Exhale, the hands come back down towards the heart, gently bowing your head forward, finding gratitude for your practice today. Namaste. Well done.